It's awkward outside. It's weird. It's intense. Nobody really wants to be here. Dad doesn't want to be here. Robyn doesn't want to be here. Mom doesn't want to be here. It's weird. It's intense and it's uncomfortable.
When the drama and sarcasm become new records, let's dissect it. Christine's goodbye scene prior to her departure, so glaringly obvious that Soen, the eternal victim, bless her heart, spun everything around so that it seemed like Christine had no desire whatsoever for anything to do with Soen's children. You can almost see it in the pictures. Breaking news. Christine never uttered that she didn't want a relationship with Soen's children. What she really did say was that she wasn't up for attempting to fix things with the wise right now. But naturally, Soen the eternal martyr took that and twisted it into the sob tale we all adore, because Soen's entire existence must center around being the wronged individual at all times. Then there's episode 12, where the drama continues unabated. So opens with, "It's really hard to be optimistic when a bomb just went off and blew up pretty much all of your hopes. The collateral damage will last for generations." Cue the eye roll. Someone get this woman a nomination for Best Dramatic Performance because that line is a whole production. A bomb went off. Really, the only thing that's blowing up is Soen's over-the-top emotional meltdown. And don't even get me started on Kody. You know, the guy who thinks a 99 degrees fever is a near-death experience. That's barely above normal, dude. But sure, panic and call the EMTs. The drama is real. It's honestly surreal watching him claim he's some kind of coronavirus martyr. He goes to hug Truly, but won't let Ari, or was it Solomon? Who cares? Give her a hug. Why? Oh, because of coronavirus. Of course, except for the fact that he's been out and about maskless, gallivanting with Soen and her kids while the rest of the world is locked in a pandemic. Yet Truly can't have a hug from her siblings because Kody's rules are just that important, right? It's all just another one of Kody's classic control tactics. Why would you let kids have some comfort and say goodbye? Nope, not in Kody's world. Got to keep them away, create some chaos, and keep the whole thing about him. Honestly, he's like a mean girl bully stuck in a grown man's body. You know, he just wants the attention on him, and if he can make everyone else miserable in the process, so much the better. Meanwhile, Soen and Kody are prancing around town maskless, playing coronavirus 19 dodgeball. Go figure. And oh, don't forget Soen's thank you Christine moment. Christine nailed it when she pointed out So's drama queen tendencies. If anyone needed more proof of how much Soen thrives on chaos, the photos speak for themselves. Christine's been calling this out from way back in season 4 when she had a very mature sit-down with Soen, explaining that her issues with Kody had nothing to do with her. But Soen, of course, just can't seem to let that go. She's the real problem here. Always has been, always will be. In conclusion, nothing has changed. It's just a whole lot of recycled drama and manipulation. Honestly, at this point, if you need proof that Sopen's the problem, just take a look at any episode. She's the one pulling all the strings, creating chaos for her own twisted entertainment. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Watching the season 18 tell-all, and honestly the entire show has me wanting to scream. Seriously, when is someone going to call Robyn out on those ridiculous fake tears? It's so over-the-top, childlike and manipulative. And the worst part, she keeps doing it because everyone just lets her. Why is no one stepping up to say something? The constant tissue waving, drying eyes on repeat in high definition, no less. It's just too much. Christine and Janelle, yeah, they're done with it. You can practically see the eye rolls. They've seen it all before. Notice how they never acknowledge her tears. They're basically numb to it at this point. And then Meri and Kody, their total lack of response when Robyn needs to take a walk during that last conversation. I actually laughed out loud. That's how they treat her emotional breakdowns. And she looked like she was genuinely having a moment, but I couldn't stop giggling. Honestly, it feels like the gloves came off for the OG3 last season. So if they're all coming back, I'm expecting some seriously sharp and savage comments to start flying. Did the Brown family prove polygamy doesn't work? Well, it sure seems like they did. Kody Brown and his wives set out to show the world that polygamy could be a viable, even harmonious lifestyle. But as it turns out, their little experiment was more of a textbook case of how not to do it. In the earlier seasons of the show, the family portrayed themselves as this united, happy, polygamous tribe. But spoiler alert, it was all a facade. As the seasons were on, particularly in the Flagstaff episodes, the cracks started to show. The wides weren't as thrilled with the arrangement as the producers made them look, and the constant competition for Kody's attention became impossible to hide. The truth was the Brown family's polygamous setup wasn't an example of a functional family. It was a disaster waiting to happen. The misery, tension, and conflict that simmered below the surface finally spilled over, leading to the family's eventual breakdown. It was like watching a reality TV show where the central theme was polygamy doesn't work, despite their best efforts to paint it otherwise. But did the Browns prove what many of us suspected all along, that polygamy can be abusive and damaging to the wives? It's hard to argue against it considering the emotional and mental toll we saw them endure. Polygamy in this case seemed to be less about love and more about control, favoritism, and a whole lot of misery for the wives involved. Maybe not physical abuse, but verbal and emotional. Definitely when a system is designed to create rivalry and dependency rather than support and equality, the result is pretty predictable. And let's not forget the cultural anthropologists they brought in to sprinkle some legitimacy on the whole thing. Sure, polygamy can work if the wives are friends, the husband treats them equally, and there's plenty of money to go around. But Kody and his wives had none of that. They only had money once the show started, but that wasn't enough to fix the fundamental problems. They didn't have the unity or the resources that might have helped their system function. In fact, the only thing they had was a reality TV paycheck and some very unhappy wives. As for their kids, well, the first 13 were clear on one thing. They didn't want any part of their parents' lifestyle. Polygamy wasn't even on their radar, and it's not hard to see why. They watched their father struggle to provide, watched him bring in a much younger wife, and 3 more kids into an already precarious situation, and grew up seeing their family dynamic slowly fall apart. No wonder they wanted no part in that. To be honest, the show was kind of like a slow-motion car crash. Watching it unfold, you knew it wasn't going to end well, but it was hard to look away. The wives were visibly unhappy for much of the series, and it was almost painful to see them pretend to be okay when they clearly weren't. Sure, they were supposed to be modern polygamists, but they ended up facing many of the same problems that polygamy is notorious for. At least in the end, they got honest about it. That's something, right? In the end, the Brown family didn't just prove polygamy doesn't work. They practically demonstrated why it's a broken system, especially when you add in the dynamics of control, favoritism, and limited resources. Maybe it's time to take a hard look at whether this lifestyle should be allowed in the modern world. Just a thought. Alright, let's dive into some truly unpopular opinions about sister wives. Spoiler: the adult's a mess, like a hot mess. The oldest kids basically parentified, raised in a dysfunctional circus where dad was more of a ghost than a parent. And let's not forget the brilliant decisions these grown-ups made, like uprooting the whole family, abandoning any semblance of family culture, and turning their lives into a never-ending reality show train wreck. Seriously, I'll never stop thinking these adults were selfish in every possible way. Now let's talk Janelle, the financial guru of the bunch. Remember when she was supposed to be the practical one with the finance? Newsflash, not so much. The woman bought a trailer that screams questionable impulse buy, put Kody's name on her Coyote Pass lot, agreed to pay off Robyn's credit card debt like it was a totally normal thing to do, and oh yeah, rented for 5 years in Flagstaff. Truly the financial mastermind we were all promised. And then there's Robyn. People think she's some sort of cunning mastermind, right? Ha, wrong. She's just not that smart. She's damaged, selfish, and probably too emotionally exhausted to think anything through. She didn't plan a thing. She just threw out demands. And Kody, well, he's so predictable. He said yes to every single one of them. No real consideration for the fallout. She got what she wanted and that was good enough for her. Classic Robyn. So Robyn and jealousy, a match made in drama. Let's break this down. Robyn's jealousy, especially toward Christine, isn't just a fleeting thing. It's like a low-key constant simmering under the surface. And here's the theory. What if Robyn was jealous of Christine? Not just for the usual reasons, but for her lineage and the potential status that Christine's family could bring within the church. Robyn, I mean, is the type to want it all, right? She's not just trying to be the main wife. She's aiming for the top spot in the whole family dynamic. So what better way to secure her position than to monopolize Kody's attention and slowly start relocating the family first to Vegas, then Flagstaff, keeping Christine away from her support system and maybe even making it harder for her to maintain that spiritual authority she had. Maybe it's all part of the grand plan to eliminate competition. And oh, the jealousy isn't just reserved for Christine's position or influence. It's practically her default setting. I mean, did you catch the conversation after Yul's surgery? Everyone is just all about her getting better, being sweet and supportive after such a traumatic experience. And then Robyn somehow manages to turn the topic to height. Like what even? She begins going on about how all the kids and the moms are competitive. Sounds like someone's projecting a little too hard. don't you think? It's as if Robyn must steal the limelight, even if it means attempting to sabotage Christine's position in the family. Christine has always been the heart of everything, the one that everyone is drawn to. And when Christine departed, well, it wasn't just her leaving, the rest of the family did too. That says a lot, doesn't it? Robyn might have wished to be the heart, but Christine was. You can't just substitute that. Am I insane for believing it's completely acceptable for Christine to not want to be near Ken? The man said some seriously twisted things. And then there's Kody, who totally flipped out on Christine, being all rude and obnoxious, not to mention the wives who jump all over her. Am I forgetting something here? Come on. Suppose some dude near Kody said something that made Robyn angry. What would Kody do? Tell her to suck it up and quit whining because it's just PMS. Oh wait, you don't have to suppose that because it actually happened. Kody flat out disowned his own sons over it, but he thinks Christine is crazy for needing an apology. Meanwhile, he expects apologies from his sons and has them acknowledge he's correct, as if he's the moral compass. It's all humiliation at this stage. But here's the twist. Ken, the same individual who uttered all those derogatory remarks, calls Christine to apologize after watching the episode. You know what that did? It made Kody appear like an even bigger idiot than if he just stood up for his wife initially. Ken was aware he was being the jerk, but believed he was joking around. It wasn't supposed to be personal, but Kody didn't appreciate it. He didn't really care about starting trouble. Honestly, Ken got a bad deal. The man obviously had good intentions, believing that the only salvation for Kody was to convert to his religion of choice. So Ken approached Kody privately and offered it to him. But naturally, Kody took that private conversation and announced it to the wives, as if Ken had suggested that he leave them and return to Ken's church. It wasn't a public tirade against the wives. He never said anything of that to their faces, so he didn't owe them an apology. Kody, however, has no issue whatsoever with keeping secrets from his wives. Hello, secret courtships for marriages 2 and 4, let alone his dirty business dealings. But here he is spilling everything to the wives like he's trying to create drama. And now about Janelle. She drops that bombshell on Ken and then just disappears into the background as if she's trying not to be caught up in the fallout. She knew what she was doing, and honestly she didn't care. It wasn't so much a sister-wife solidarity moment, just saying. So was that the real Kody the whole time? I tuned in initially when the very first episode came on, when all was rosy and swell. Kody was seen as the charming, pretty optimistic dude, though the wives did have their drama, but nothing that shouted complete breakdown. But then I was seeing these divorces, these betrayals, and just complete madness. So I figured I would fast forward to season 18 for the one-on-one interviews. And whoa, holy guacamole, things have changed. Kody's attitude now, a straight-up horror show. The guy gives off major sociopath vibes. Seriously, he's so creepy now. It's like watching a whole different person. It got me wondering, was he always like this, hiding behind that fake charm, or did his lifestyle turn him into this monster? Either way, I am strapped in and prepared to observe the train wreck that is the rest of the seasons. I'm dying to see the implosion in real time. And let's discuss Janelle for a moment. She's seriously doing great. I was blown away at how well she's held up. Like, she is stunning. And then Kody and Robyn. Yikes, watching them together was a real jump scare. But the best victory here is to see the original 3 wives living their best lives. They are all radiant and I'm so ready for it. The dark cloud over them for all those years is gone and they get to be free and happy. And as for Kody, he wanted to be the focal point of it all, surrounded by people who were essentially his personal entourage. Initially that used to satisfy his narcissistic ego. Now everything is coming unraveled. Why? 2 primary reasons. 1. The children matured. They ceased to fawn over him, to idolize him, and began to have their own thoughts and lives. 2. Robyn's arrival just opened the floodgates. All of a sudden all the abuse, the neglect, and the unfairness that went on behind closed doors was exposed. Essentially, Kody lost command of his mini-kingdom, and here we're witnessing the true him. The truth is, the true Kody was always there, hidden in the wings. We simply did not realize it until today. His entire exaggerated sense of self-worth derived from the admiration of his younger children who were too innocent to question anything. They worshipped him and that egged him on for years. But the crack began to appear when Robyn became part of the family, and from there everything snowballed. The drama just continued to mount as the wives began to see how much they were being overlooked and treated poorly, and as their children grew older they stopped bowing to the ground that Kody walked on. He did not approve. Now he is unhappy, and the cracks in the illusion are too broad to deny. So yeah, I guess we were all so blind to it at first, but now it's as clear as day. Real Kody has been here the entire time. It's just been hiding beneath all the control, narcissism, and fantasy of being the grand patriarch. And now that the facade is disintegrating, we're only now seeing real Kody. Oh wow, where do I even start with all this? So finally catching up here. I'm at season 16 episode 9, and I know I'm late to the party. Forgive me, but what the heck? Kody just outright admits he doesn't have a main wife. But oh yeah, sure, you've evidently been avoiding every single one of your kids other than Robyn's. So that's a good beginning. Then he attends Janelle's mom's funeral, returns, gets a coronavirus test, because clearly that's the first thing to do after a funeral, and returns straight to Robyn. Kody, wasn't this the ideal time to actually, I don't know, stay with Janelle and perhaps catch up with her after all she's been through? But no, instead you almost sprint to Robyn like you can't live without her, and the total cherry on top. He's out here hugging and cuddling Robyn's children like they're oxygen, but his other children don't even consider it. They're almost invisible to him. Phew, Kody and Robyn too. Seriously, if he wanted to make it even clearer that Robyn is the main wife, he could have gone ahead and placed a rhinestone tiara on her head, with main wife in neon. And two, I'm just sitting here wondering if the production team, bless their hearts, actually thought we'd find that entire daddy's home scene at Robyn's to be heartwarming, or if they were simply like, yeah, let's humor Kody and give the audience a little wink. Watching episode 7 again, I'd completely forgotten about the time Isabel and Brianna both wound up moving in with Meri and Leon. The reason, though somewhat sketchy to put it mildly, apparently 8-year-old Isabel was clashing too much with Chris. What else is new? And surprise, she got along much better with Meri. Christine, always the comedian, jokes that Yabel should have been Meri's daughter and not hers. For real, I adore Christine's sense of humor, but that one seemed a little off. Then Robyn is concerned, and allows Brianna to move in since obviously she doesn't want Meri to suffer the empty nest syndrome when Liam finishes high school and maybe doesn't feel like a mommy anymore. Classic Robyn getting involved in all our life choices since the beginning of time. So this entire episode is essentially a huge WTF moment. Was it a fluke sleepover and turned into a plot twist for drama? More than likely. Oh, and this is also the episode where Meri has a complete meltdown at the kids in Big Bear. Not a single mom comes to her defense. Kody just stands there scowling like he's lost in time, and then Robyn and Kody complain that Robyn's kids are supposedly being bullied by some of the other Brown kids. Classic drama, huh? Flash forward to Yibble discussing Meri on Patreon years later, in which she acknowledged Meri was indeed her Meri Bear when she was a kid. Naturally now they're not as close but still enjoy other social media updates. Christine has also written in their book how Isabel was sometimes a pain to get along with. Yes, she did favor Meri. Meanwhile, Gwen told a sweet anecdote about Meri presenting Isabel with a stuffed bunny, washing it, and voila, the bunny multiplied into 7 bunnies the next day. Classic Meri move. But anyway, regarding the entire moving in thing, it was only for a weekend because of course. So yeah, definitely a storyline filler. Regarding Meri losing her temper and Big Bear, I understand. She was speaking sternly, attempting to create boundaries because newsflash, boundaries did not exist in that household. And remember, Peyton as an adult admitted to bullying the younger children in Dayton. Added to that Logan, yes Logan, disciplined Peyton and Gabe. Why was Logan disciplining them? Who knows? And also Aspen appeared to be assuming somewhat of a leadership role as well. So Meri was likely just trying to protect the younger children from all of the troublemaking and chaos. Now Christine's observations about Yiza in these circumstances would be utterly bizarre in a typical family, but under their plural marriage lifestyle and so on, it's more like a running gag. I guess within their little micro-culture it may not be so odd if one wife says that about another's child. But if one of my mom's friends told her that, she'd be all sorts of no, she's your daughter. Don't speak like that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you in the next video. Much love and take care everyone.